Okay, this is going to be the second video of the solutions for the post-progress quiz revision sheet. I'm going to do the answers for this one in purple so we can differentiate it between the first video, because I was hoping to cover all of question 1 in the first video, but obviously talked too long, so I didn't get it all done within 10 minutes. Okay, so let's start at question H. Similar to before, we've got to have the same denominator. Now I can make this first fraction all over 2, and I might actually do that just to show you a different way of doing it. So that just means I'm dividing every term in this fraction by 2. So, and I don't have to change anything to that because it's already over 2. The purpose of dividing it by 2 is to have the same denominator. So if I divide 8d by 2, I get 4d. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then I add that to d minus 1. So now I have the same denominator, so I can add them together. So put everything over 2. And because I don't have much space here, and I did say before that some people skip a step, so I might just skip that step here so we can see. So because I know that I'm going to be adding these two numerators, I'm going to just add them in one go instead of writing it and then doing it. So 4d plus d is 5d. And then plus 1 minus 1 is 0. So your final answer is just going to be 5d over 2. Okay, question I. I might just scroll up a little bit. Okay, so again, we don't have the same denominator, but I can see that 3 goes into everything, but I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. So we've got the same denominator. Okay, so this one's a tricky one. Okay, thinking on the spot. I can go through and divide everything by 3. And if I did that, I'm not going to have the same denominator on both sides. So that would then require me to do an extra step. To get the same denominator, I can simplify this one down, but it would become 4p. So I don't really want to do that if I was to divide everything by 3. What I might do is actually change this 9p to 12p. Actually, I'm not going to change it to 12p. That'll complicate it even more. I might just pause there to think of the best way. Okay, there's several ways of doing it, and I've decided to change this 9p to 12p. You can do it in one step, but I'm not going to do it in one step because I think that might confuse you a little bit if you struggle with that. So what I'm going to do first is simplify 6 over 9p. So if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3, I get 2 over 3p. And then the next one just stays the same. Next fraction, that is. Okay, then to change this 3p to 12p, I multiply both sides by 4. So then I've got 8 over, so 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12p, and now I have everything over 12. So you could have done that in one step, but I've done it in 2. Okay, so everything over 12p, I'm going to bring everything together in one go. So I've got 3p, so just one term with p in it, and 8 plus 9 gives me 17. And I can't simplify that any further. Now I'm going to put you're going away. Thank you. There we go. Put a nice square around it, not one that goes over the 7. Okay, and I'm going to put a line down there so we don't get mixed up. All right, this one here. Oh, why do I write such complicated ones? What I might do is I might do the solution over here. Just means it's not going to be on the sheet for other people, but that's okay. So when we're dividing a fraction by a fraction, so I'll just make sure I'm writing this down correctly. Remember, we multiply and then we do the reciprocal of the other fraction. So in this case, the 4 comes up the top and then the 2q plus, change colour on me. Okay, 2q plus 4. Okay, you can start cancelling out because I can see we've got a 3 here. We'll cancel out with that 3 and this 6 will become 2. And then this p will also cancel out. But I'm not going to do that because I think some people will understand, but it's probably best if I take out a common factor. I'm not going to do the multiplication just yet. I'm going to simplify just this fraction. You can do the multiplication if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to take 3p out of a common factor in this expression. So that means I'm left with pq plus 2. So if I was to expand this bracket, 3p times pq gives me 3p squared q, and then 3p times 2 gives me 6p. Now you can see the reason for doing that is because those 3p's are going to cancel out. Now you can also simplify this because you can see the 4, 2 and 4 are all multiples of 2, so I'm going to divide everything by 2. Okay, so kind of doing 2 steps in one go. So now those 3p's cancel out. And we're left with, now I could have done this in one step, but I just wanted to show you something in case you're a little bit confused because you think, oh, that's no longer a fraction. Well, we can turn anything into a fraction by just doing it divided by 1. So now we can multiply our numerators. Sorry, I forgot the name. Okay, so this 2 is multiplying everything here, and this 1 is multiplying the q plus 2. So I don't need to write 1 times that. And good idea just to expand that bracket. So we've got 2 times pq, 2 times 2 is 4. Whoops. Siri. I don't know whether you can hear that, but Siri just did 2 times 2 equals 4 for me. Thanks, Siri. Good to know. All right, so we've got 2pq. Oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. 2pq. Just writing down that answer that we did on the other side over q plus 2. And, well, I don't really need to put a square around that, but I did. There's our answer there. Yeah, I knew going to come up. Okay. There we go. All right, let's just scroll up and do these last 2 before we move on to question 2. Okay, so again, we can just multiply the numerators and the denominators, but I can see now that we can start doing some cancelling. So this 2 and this 8 can, I think that's going to happen, can cancel out because 2 over 8 is 1/4. So I can do 1/4 like that. We don't usually put the 1 there, but I will for this case. But you don't have to, and I probably shouldn't have. But and then don't forget that t. So there's a t there as well. Times, and then the 4t over 2 becomes 2t. So now it has become, and that's over 1. So similar to what we did before. So we multiply our numerators. Keep forgetting the numerator word. And then 4t times 1 is just 4t. Now, I could have expanded that in one go if I wanted to, but I saw that this 2t was going to cancel out with this. So 2t over 4t, the t's cancel out, and the 2 over 4, that becomes 2. And you might see that now I can cancel out this 2, but I might just do that in 2 steps so you can see. So 2t plus 4 over 2. That 2 goes with that, and that becomes a 2. So you're left with t plus 2. Let's put a bracket, a square around that. Okay, this last one, is it going to be complicated? I'm just thinking out loud. We can simplify this first term. Okay, so 2 goes into 2, 2, and 4. So I'm going to rewrite that as t plus 1 over 2. Okay, same thing. And then the other one is t plus 1 over 2. Oh, if you have something divided by the same thing, it's going to turn into 1. But let's just see if that actually works. So remember, when you divide by a fraction, your first fraction stays the same. The second one, you multiply it by its reciprocal, so we flip that. Then when we multiply our numerators, we've got 2 times t plus 1. And then we've got the same on the bottom. When you have the same number on the top as the bottom, even though we've got t's and brackets and stuff, it's still going to equal 1. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. So the next video will be for question 2.